my friends are simps.
I am but a simple man though that enjoys colourful lights, and I especially enjoy lighting that can be synchronised to music, and for a long time I've been searching for an affordable, portable way to trigger lights in response to different parts of my musical creation. So for example, having a red flash for a kick drum, white for hi-hat and all that kind of thing. However, pickings in this department have been slim for some time. At least that was the case until Soma came out with the Illuminator last year. So what is the Illuminator? Well, it's a really simple but clever box that allows you to trigger up to 8 separate LED strips using control voltage. This means, as you might have guessed, that you can hook it up directly to your modular or semi-modular synthesizer and synchronise the luminosity with your music. Each strip plugs into the Illuminator directly with a DC connection, and because this is made by Soma Labs, it's got both mini jack and Pulsar 23 style post connections for each channel, which is pretty cool indeed. The LED strips themselves respond to variable voltage, and so it's not just a case of them being either on or off. You can get quite creative actually with ADSR envelopes or LFOs or whatever as a result, and the possibilities are kind of wild, especially if you make use of a sequencer like Soma's Ornament, which is a bit of an unusual thing, and I've done a video on that before. I guess I should say at this point, since I've mentioned a few Soma products, they're not sponsoring this video. I bought the Illuminator myself out of my own hard-earned YouTube millions. Aye. Now, despite the Illuminator immediately grabbing my attention when it was first released, they had a really cool video that went along with it that you should go and watch after you've watched all of this. I only just bought one for myself recently when they were on sale at Signal Sounds here in Glasgow. Part of the reason for my initial hesitation or delay there was down to the fact that the Soma website initially said that neither the power supply or the LED strips that you need were included in the box. This meant that you could customise your setup, but you did also have to buy your own extra cost, and possibly even, can you believe it, solder the DC jack connections for yourself, which should be fairly straightforward, but to be honest, it's something that I just couldn't be arsed doing. Anyway, curiosity got the better of me and I took the plunge, sourced an appropriate 5 amp PSU, bought some 12 volt strips that specifically came with a DC socket connection in the end, and then I got some guitar pedal DC patch cables to plug them in. I like to think of this as the lazy man's creative solution. However, to my surprise, when I opened the box for the Illuminator, which was actually bigger than I thought it was going to be, I discovered that it not only included both the PSU and 8 1.5 meter LED strips, but that the strips also already had the DC connections soldered on. I think that Soma maybe started offering these as a separate package or something at some point, because people couldn't be bothered sourcing everything themselves, but either way, I'm glad that they were in there, as it meant that I could get up and running straight away, and also have the flexibility to expand the setup if I wanted to. Now, one of the things that really appealed to me about the Illuminator in particular was that I could have different sets of LEDs for different purposes. So I used the strips that came with the kit to light up my home studio here, sticking them about in different places like the edges of my desks and all that kind of thing, and I kept the additional strips that I'd bought as a kind of portable set for playing live or putting in different places for recording videos, one of which you might have seen recently, and if not, you should go and watch it well, not right now, but soon. I love that you can effectively set up different scenes with different coloured strips in different places, and then just move the Illuminator around and plug them in as required. It's actually a really smart thing. It was only after I stuck up all the strips around my modular that I realised just how bright they are, and it really does look fantastic, although albeit somewhat Caesar-inducing. However, you can dial down the brightness of individual channels a bit if required by using the trimmer pots that are on there. I have really been enjoying using this with my modular. Having all of the lights pulse and undulate in time with the music is a fantastic experience, whether or not you're on substances, and it works especially well with a powerful CV sequencer like the NerdSec, which I talked about recently, or the Oxy One, given all of their possible CV and trigger outputs. Now, as fun as that all is, a lot of the full songs that I write are performed, if you can call it that, on devices like the Dirtywave M8 or the Octatrack, which don't have dedicated CV outputs. So I've been using the Endorphin shuttle control as a MIDI to CV converter to let me program and control the LEDs in time with my tracks. This has worked brilliantly so far, but it isn't the most portable solution since the Endorphin shuttle control is in my rack. So fairly quickly, I found myself buying a CV.OCD from 64 pixels, which I should then be able to move around wherever I want and get a bit more creative with my experiments rather than just being stuck here. I mean, it's not a terrible place to be stuck, but you know what I mean. In theory, you could also probably use the RK006 from RetroKits, which is something I actually already owned and I've talked about previously. It's this tiny wee USB MIDI converter hub thing with multiple mini jack outputs, and there's a mode on there that allows you to trigger gates from MIDI notes. Unfortunately, currently at least, if you're listening RetroKits, maybe you could fix this, the configuration options are a bit limited, so they are set to note values, specific note values for triggering each channel, and they're all tied to the same MIDI channel. And of course that does restrict some of the sequencing possibilities, sadly, so the CV.OCD is probably a good purchase. The Illuminator is one of those bits of gear that really opens up a lot of creative possibilities, and my mind has been racing ever since I got it. I keep thinking, I've got so many ideas for this, so many ideas, and in theory, you can power all sorts of gadgets that run on 12 volts from this, not just LED strips. So there's lots of alternative uses milling around my mind, like filament bulbs and maybe even spinning beacons. This is the kind of thing that I've been waiting for, and I'm really excited about exploring its possibilities. However, it has proven quite tricky so far to find affordable 12 volt options, so we'll see what happens. If you're interested in playing live and having DIY visuals, or if you just like the immersive nature of reactive lighting, then this is well worth a look. It's actually much better than I thought it would be. I don't know what I thought, but I'm really glad I got it. It costs a couple of £100, which might seem like a lot, but actually, when you look at what you get in there with the power supply and all the strips and the cost that it would be if you bought them separately, then it's actually not bad at all. I've already been uploading some of my early adventures, and you'll probably, doubtlessly, be seeing a lot more about it on the channel in future since, I don't leave the house, so that's it. That's it. Go buy one. Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe.